Okay, so I just like to say thanks to you all for being at the session on Tuesday, the CEO Information Day, and I'm sorry that we had technical difficulties on the evening, but hope some of the questions you asked in the chat were of use. But as promised, I'm just going to go through the presentation here and give you the information you need. So I'm going to talk about, we'll say, both performance and participation in DCU and what sporting life is like. And I suppose one element of it is, I suppose a lot of people think of DCU and they think of the successes teams have in basketball. And we won the Collingwood Cup in 2020. Here's one of our successful ladies football teams from last year, one of our fresher football team from last year, our successful women's athletics team, successful women's rugby team, and our successful Ashburn Cup team. And there's a lot of that where people look at successes of teams in a university and kind of associate that with, oh, that's the place I want to go or whatever. We'd put an awful lot of emphasis, and it comes directly from the top of the university, around the student experience of making sure sport is very much part of what goes on in DCU and how a student gains an identity in their time at DCU and enjoys their time. So this video here, I'll give you a bit of an insight into what sporting life in DCU is like.
Time. What does it mean? Sometimes looking back, always moving forward. The many ways to measure it, and to each our own. The last few yards, the height of the jump, the cold winter mornings and the missed morning bus, the panic of the alarm clock that tells you you're late, the blast of the whistle and the deep inhale. That's the thing about time. It passes in a span of moments. It's the space between the fumble and the catch, the stumble and the landing, the goal, the try, the point, the cheers, the jeers, the ringing in your ears, the morning lectures, through the laughter and sometimes the tears. Time is how you spend it. And what did you find? The gap in their line, the energy to push through one more time, to make the leap out of yourself, knowing that you are one in over 18,000 who found your tribe under floodlights. Part of the great history of elite players and incredible people who you'll know for the rest of your life. The advice that made all the difference, that made you part of something larger than yourself, that makes you realize that's all time is, a series of moments. And that's enough. Time waits for no one, and it shouldn't have to. So ask yourself, what did you find? Because it lives on in you.
So I suppose that video gives you a real insight into what life is like in DCU as a student, and particularly myself. One of the reasons I really enjoy third level sport is the unique situations that develop and the connections that happen. This is a picture from, it's over a year old now at this stage, but it's TUD and DCU in a match, in a camogie match against each other, and two sets of sisters were playing against each other. And I suppose that kind of situation doesn't happen in too often in Ireland, the way sports and all sports are structured. And then you kind of look at the other side of things and how, I suppose, a narrative gets out there that with sport that people are enemies and competing against each other or whatever. Real strong bonds kind of exist and develop in third level when people who are in that real kind of make or break stage of trying to progress onto elite performance, and they're working side by side with people from other areas and they're competitors, but yet they're working side by side. Like this picture here is of Johnny Cooper and Rob Henley after the 2013 All-Ireland football final. And immediately upon the end, Johnny Cooper, who was successful with Dublin, went and sought out Rob Henley. But I suppose the background to the picture is they're both in the same class. They both played football together in DCU. They both actively work beside each other in the gym to try and push each other on and achieve. We'll say they both had the same goal, but within different counties. And that friendship and bond that happens at third level is something that's massively important. And I suppose in DCU, we put a real strong emphasis on doing whatever you want to do and being whatever you want to be. Um, I suppose the top left hand corner there is the Surf and Sail Club, which seems to be the club everyone wants to join in because they seem to be away in western parts of Ireland every second or third week, enjoying themselves. And it's funded by the CLC, the Club Life Committee, who support clubs activities, and there's opportunities for people no matter what sport or they're interested in, or if they want to try new sports even. So I suppose, what does the structure of college sport look like? So it actually begins fairly quickly in it begins fairly quickly as soon as you start college in September. One of the things is we try and get the clubs running nearly on the first week that you're back in college, because it gives you that second identity group of people who you're kind of looking to engage with and become friends with and spend time with. There's a number of university leagues, cups, competitions that take place throughout the country over the course of the year. One of the great things as well is that the clubs are primarily all student run and student led, which means that there's a number of teams at different levels where there's student coaches, and the chairperson, secretary, PRO, treasurer are all students, and kind of a great opportunity to develop really good leadership skills, etc. And there's opportunities depending on the sport you're in to travel internationally. I know the athletics club, there was a crew of almost 40 people over on a warm weather training camp there in on the first week of January, in Portugal, which is nice considering I was stuck at home in the cold, but I'm not too jealous of them anyway. Um, so again, we talk about students being in roles. The two girls on the furthest left hand side of the photo there are working in performance analysis roles with Gaelic Games teams. And we give that opportunity for students to get involved with the high performance coaches as well. And I suppose learn off them and harness off the amount of knowledge they have as well. That photo's in for no other reason than I really like the photo, and I suppose that was kind of towards the end of the sporting calendar in Gaelic Games last year. It was actually on International Women's Day, and we were hosting the O'Connor Cup weekend, and it was just a nice photo that showcase what third level sport could be like. Okay, so in terms of facilities, and I went through this in the presentation and talked a bit around it because there was a question. But we have a sports campus which is just across the road from the Glasnevin campus. Over there, there's a soccer pitch, a rugby pitch, 3 Gaelic Games pitches, running area, throwing area, jumps area. There's a high performance gym, and there's kind of considerable land for cross country running, etc. And that's kind of the top right hand corner. The top left hand corner and the bottom right hand corner, I suppose, are the facilities on the Glasnevin campus of our gym. And then we have a swimming pool with great recovery facilities in terms of a steam room, sauna, jacuzzi, etc., which is great for people who are training at a high level and looking to try and perform and excel on. One thing about the gym is if you end up getting a sports scholarship or end up on one of the elite teams, you'll get free gym membership with it. And then down in the bottom left hand corner is our Gaelic Games pitch and down on St. Pat's campus, and the facilities down there are constantly being upgraded as well. And I suppose across all of them we have great facilities. And the latest string to our bow is over the calendar year just gone, 2022. We finally accrued the National Athletic Stadium in Santry. And it's currently undergoing a facelift at the moment to bring up the facility standard there. And I suppose when you arrive into the DCU now in September, that should be just about done, and a great facility to have for again athletics and other sports as well. So I suppose a lot of you are interested in the performance sports program and entering through them. So we have two things on the performance sports program. With the CAO points entry, where you can get in on up to 25 points reduced on your particular course. And that's available in all courses in DCU. So say, for instance, you were looking to do primary teaching about the 500 mark last year. So say you ended up between 475 and 500, or if the points through the CO are 505, you end up between 480 and 505, and you're after getting through to the next phase in this program, you could well get through through into the next stage, which would be great, and get your place in the course. The sports scholarship, I'm actually going to get a couple of students to talk about that on a video now in a second. But I suppose there we can see some of the people across different sports who've been supported. The top left-hand corner there was of three of our at the time current students who were in the Olympics in Tokyo. And then Brendan Hyland, the bottom right-hand corner, was actually in Tokyo at the Olympics, but he just graduated at that stage. So that's the story there. We've massive success across all sports and try and support individuals to excel at their sport, no matter what it may be.
DCU Sports Performance Program has been a great help to me over the last 4 years. From gym membership and access to DCU sports grounds to academic supports over the 4 years, the program's really helped me to perform at my best on and off the field.
The DCU Sports Performance Programme has helped me develop in many ways, from access to gym and pool facilities for strength and conditioning and top-class coaching to bring my performance on the pitch to a better level, to both academic and financial support, which have helped keep stress levels low during my time in DCU.
DCU Sports Performance Programme has had a massive impact on me as a student athlete. Having the ability to live on student campus has you close to the library, all your lectures and the gym for strength and conditioning and recovery after games.
The DCU Sports Performance Programme helped me massively, in particular with academic support. In second year I struggled with a module, and through this programme I was entitled to academic support. Honestly, can't be thankful enough for everything that DCU has done for me.
Okay, so that was Aisling, Hannah, Evan, and Rory talking about their time in DCU and the supports they availed of in their time in DCU. So just to kind of give a summary of what they were talking about there. So there's there's a financial subsidy. Now it's not huge. We tend to support a wider pool of students rather than focusing in on individuals and giving them fully all fees and accommodation off. That's not how we go about things. As I mentioned when talking about the facilities, if you end up getting a sports scholarship or on one of the elite teams, you get membership to the gym and S&C support if required. There's a number of high performance education talks and workshops that run throughout the year. Academic support, which I suppose a lot of them talked about there. And that might come in the form of, say you go in and do PA and biology, and the only science subject you done in the Leaving Cert is biology, but you have to undertake a physics and chemistry modules, and a bit of help through that can be massively important. A peer mentoring program, which we'll talk a little bit about now again in a second. We give dual career supports of balancing your academics and your sporting pursuits. And we've access to a number of high level competitions. And I know I talked about coaching and students getting an opportunity to do a lot of coaching. We also have really high expertise working with our top class teams and athletes as well. So kind of looking at that mentoring program. So we have a mentoring program in place where you come into DCU as a first year, and we try and link you in with somebody who's from the same county as yourself, and playing the same sport as yourself, and where possible they've done the same academic degree to try and help you adjust to that change from second level school to third level, also from going from, we'll say, a junior to a senior level athlete as well. So it's something that's massively important. And again, like I have this picture up, and it was taken in the library, in the Woodlock Library down in All Hallows campus. One of the reasons the photo was in is, like, come to DCU because the right academic courses here for you, and then the sport is very much an add-on after that. Don't choose to come to DCU because you want to play sport and it has a reputation for being good in that regard. Make sure the right academic course is there, and then the sport will be a massive bonus on top of that. So again, I shared a lot of these contact details I shared a lot of these contact details on the chat on Tuesday, but there's the contact details for various people who'll be able to help you out. And that's it. I went through questions on Tuesday, so hopefully that's of benefit. And sorry again for the technical difficulties. Okay, thank you.